Wholeness, everyone. Welcome to Notes of Nara. This is Naja Rashida here, and today's topic is for the empaths out there. This is just yet another lifeline to help you comprehend this crazy reality that we're in, this crazy earthly realm, and what to do with all these feelings, and how to develop and strengthen discernment, how to deal with projection and gaslighting, and are these my feelings? Am I, crazy? Blah 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 blah. So I'm just going to share something with you that it came across my path just the other day, and I thought it was so powerful, and it gives a more concrete, more cohesive approach to how to strengthen your boundaries. So we have public life, we have personal life, and we have the secret life. Okay, what is that? Your public life, meaning how you interact with strangers, how do you interact with your colleagues if you work or if you run your own business. You're dealing with people day in, day out on a more superficial level. You don't know the ins and outs and secrets of their life. You don't know about their family or their friends. You get an overall like sun sign kind of outline of their personality or their persona, right? And so it's more kind of like customer service, right? You're just bumping into people every single day. And then there is an inner circle where you have your personal life. This is your life that you share with your best friends, people that aren't just acquaintances, where you go a little deeper, right? They know your personality, they know your strengths, they know your weaknesses, they know like certain experiences that you've shared with them. These are your loved ones, your family, members of the community, your spiritual house that you go to, whether that's a church or whatever religious affiliation that you have. These people know your personal beliefs to a certain extent. And then you have that core inner circle, which makes up your secret life. Your secret life is you and for you alone, and you allow specific people to enter into your secret life. This means a lover, a husband, a partner, someone that you deeply trust, right? That's taken a long time to deepen that trust and deepen that rapport and deepen that relationship with, right? It takes time and energy and time. They go both hand in hand. Empaths struggle with having core values. We blend our boundaries. We have very weak boundaries when we're underdeveloped with our empathic abilities. We blend our personal and professional and secret life, and it's all this one big soup. And so everybody's hungry and they want some of that soup that you got, because that energy is different. It's different, it's authentic, it's vibrant, it's healing, it's nurturing, and they want some because they're hungry, right? When you don't establish clear boundaries of who belongs in which circle, you're going to have problems. One of my weaknesses when I was a younger empath, underdeveloped empath, is I would overshare. I would overshare. I would bring up my deepest and darkest wounds of what my mommy or daddy or family issues and childhood trauma with somebody that was probably on the cusp of public life, right? That circle, public life, and on the cusp of personal life. I was letting them deep into my inner world. You cannot do that. When we as empaths accept our most authentic self and our most authentic being, it's amazing feeling. We feel this love for ourselves. And so, in the number one mistake that empaths make is that, oh, I love myself and I accept myself this much. I know this person that I'm talking to right now also accepts themselves, and they also will accept me, because this is how I view myself, then this has to be how they view themselves. Or if not, if they don't view themselves this way, this is how they're going to view me anyway, because I'm me and I accept me, and that will F you up. it will cause a lot of suffering, a lot of hardcore lessons that it forces you to grow up. It forces you to mature. It forces you to discern your energies. It forces you to fortify those boundaries, because I would do this all the time if I felt this instant connection with somebody, whether they're female or male, platonic or romantic, and I would just be like, oh my gosh, it was just clicking, and my body would buzz around the certain types of people. And I would take that as an indication that, oh yes, okay, this is it. This is where Source wants me to be, and this is the person that Source wants me to be with, and this whole group. Yeah, and I jump head first. I jump head first. I tear down all my walls. I cry. I let it loose, all the trauma, all the this, and it got me into some trouble, emotionally and spiritually. Many different ways it got me in trouble. And I had to learn over and over again. And it wasn't until I watched this clip on YouTube of a retired CIA, which you're never retired, but he's this agent, and there's some things I agree with, some things I didn't, but basically he went to a school for intelligence, where they trained him how to be a spy and how to retract secrets from people and how to get people to share information, blah, 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 blah. And, which I'll make a video on. But he said something about you have to sustain boundaries for public life, for personal life, and for secret life. You have to. And empaths just, we struggle. Okay? I'm sharing this with you for those that struggle with having strong boundaries. I don't know if it's going to keep you from having to experience some not so good experiences, because sometimes you really literally have to go through it in order to understand it, in order to process it, in order to alchemize it, in order for it to become part of you, so that you know not to do it again, not to allow things out of your mouth and just let yourself, giving your heart to everyone. No, you can't give your heart to everyone. Your heart is like your internal compass. And it's like when you give your internal compass to someone, or to whether it's a corporation, a job, a boss, employees, an employer, a lover, a friend, a best friend, a family member, when you give your all, your whole heart to someone, like think of Howl's Moving Castle with Calcifer the fire demon, okay? And throughout the movie, towards the end of the movie, you understand that the character Howl, in order to have the power of a wizard, he gave his heart to the demon, and they both became trapped. The demon became trapped because he had his heart, and thus Calcifer was able to give some of his power to Howl, but Howl didn't have a heart, and without a heart, he couldn't feel love. He couldn't function normally, but he had all this power, and at the end, the power began to consume him and turn him into a creature. My point is when you give your heart, your internal compass away to another, right, without any boundaries, you're pretty much at their. You're able to be. How do I say this? You giving your power away. To give your internal compass to someone else, if you can imagine a compass in your hand and then you hit the little arrow, this is what they're doing to you. You're the arrow spinning out of control. You don't know what's right, what's left, what's up, what's down. You can't sit still. You're all over the place. It's chaotic. You're emotional on like this emotional roller coaster. And so when you begin to strengthen who belongs in these inner and outer circles, and you identify that, and you give a placement for the people and the roles that these people play in your life, you begin to strengthen and you begin to have these boundaries. You must have these boundaries. And the number one thing that will help empaths out there, highly sensitive folks on a spiritual level, okay? Time. 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 Time is the end all be all. That is the greatest medicine, I will have to say, where you could tell people are bringing bullshit to you. You can tell what your role is in their life. All right? It's incredible when you allow time to allow a connection with another to breathe. When someone's saying, let's move in together after 2 months. Let's get married after 6 months. Let's start this business. Drop everything and leave this job and come over here. Allow things to breathe and expand. And allow that internal compass to give you that strong yes, like a hell yeah or hell no. Okay? Because I've had to make really big decisions in a very short time frame. And it really benefited me saying yes to that. And then I also was under a lot of pressure to make a decision or decisions in a short time frame. And it turned out to be a very negative experience. So you allow time, because guess what? Especially with narcissistic energies or manipulators out there, people who con you, people who their intention with you is just malicious, right? They need speed. Once they find out what you need, what you want, what turns you on, what gets you, and most of the time people thrive off of someone giving them attention, love bombing, any form of attention, especially for single folk out there, especially for those that really thrive off of community out there. When someone comes blasting through those doors, that to get to that secret life, because once they're in that secret life, it's hard to get rid of them. They know a lot about you. They know not just your strengths and weaknesses, but they know your fears and your doubts, your dreams, your visions, your desires. Not everyone's supposed to know that. Not everyone's supposed to have access to that. Very, very few people should have access to that. So yeah, it's incredibly important to be careful, be mindful, be intentional on who you allow in each ring of your life. Time is on your side. When you use the magic of time, you allow connections with people to breathe, to expand, to contract, to not always be available, right? And it's not like you're playing games with them or manipulating them. No. This is just you as a highly sensitive person, an empath. You have to have boundaries. You have to say no. When you say no, people show out. Either they're normal or they're abnormal and something's off, and their intentions become crystal clear to you because you've given lungs to the relationship, to the friendship, to the business partnership, to the employer, to the corporation, to the institution that you work with or for. Allow things to breathe and allow things to reveal itself to you. But if you go in with, you have no care in the world and you're just being, oh, I'm in flow, let me just be in flow, I have no boundaries, I'm all love, your soup will feed everyone and you will be empty. There will be no soup for you. Because all your boundaries and all of your spheres, your public life, your private life and your secret life are all jumbled up. You don't know who belongs in what, when, how, why. So this is a warning for you all, okay? Especially during these times. But time is a gift. And especially if you get that feeling, because not all butterflies in the stomach is good. Sometimes it's warning you about something. I used to believe that wholeheartedly, that anytime someone would come around me, I start getting butterflies in my stomach, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's love. That's a connection. No. Now I know usually it's their energy that they're bringing in. If I'm solid in my energy practice, my energy practices, right, with my meditations and divinations and rituals and all that other stuff, that I'm clearing out my energy centers, so I'm solid, and someone brings in what they're bringing in, and I know they're not doing what I'm doing, and I'm feeling what they're feeling, that's it. And I know not to make it bigger than what it is. You know? But again, don't assume people will love you how you love yourself. Don't assume this. Don't assume people will respect your boundaries like you respect your boundaries. Don't assume anything with anybody. I don't anymore. And when I let go of assuming the story about people's lives, because one thing I kind of dislike in the whole spiritual new age community, when you go into like energy shops and stuff, people will be like, oh, I see your aura. Tell me, or let me tell you about yourself. Let me tell you about your energy. It's like, no, we are way more complex than that. We're walking, talking. We're a universe. We're a multiverse. We're multi-interdimensional beings. So to try to map someone's energy out, I don't know. People do it for a living, and good for them. People need help and guidance, but no, I don't want to spend my lifetime dictating to someone else's life. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind being a guide, right? A mirror, but to literally map out the very etching of like their whole existence just by reading their chart or reading their energy or reading this, I don't. All I can tell you is when you step up and start mastering the self, you're better off. It's going to be that much, and it'll exhaust the wrong people out of your life. They'll become exhausted. And they'll leave you alone. And those that have good intent, truly have good intent, they're not going anywhere. People with malicious intent, whatever that may be, they're like, I gotta get my feed. I gotta feed. I gotta find someone else because she's not giving, she's not serving. That's how it is. And they'll move on to someone else. They'll move on to someone who's unaware, who's weaker, who's not centered, ungrounded, wide open. Don't be wide open. Don't be wide open in the sense of make yourself free for everybody. Because everyone's hungry. All right, take care. Thank you so much. And I'll see you next time.